Yeah, we'll have to see. Right now, we have the Centurions on the red side. Second game of this best of three. Centurions fighting an uphill battle. They have to win the next two to win the Sunday Community Skirmish. They are bringing the RAS Turin, a galleon being piloted by Blue. Portside, Hades with double lumberjacks, something that we have seen before. They are also bringing the Carronade and Huacha, typical brawling side for the starboard, and a flare on the back. They're also running the RAS Iberico, a Pyramidion being piloted by Assault Pig. This is an Artemis Hades build, something we've been seeing more of, with another Artemis on the port side for a potential trifecta and a flare.
Meanwhile, on the Fancy for the Riders, we've got the standard. Oh, it's
not quite. It's staggered. Standard. It's a little staggered.
A little bit staggered. You've got on the wings a starboard wing. You have Flamethrower. Port wing. You have Artemis. Lower deck on the starboard. You have your Artemis. Port under carriage. You've got Carronade, and then up top you've got your Merc. That is Daniel's Fancy. A pause has been called in the meanwhile. On Luosi's Libclutter, you've got
the exact same build.
Yeah, the exact same build.
Yep, Carronade and Artemis on the lower decks, Flamethrower and Artemis on the wings, and Mercury right up top. They're looking for just pure sniping. They want to try to peck down these Centurions before they even get close.
Yep.
Closing this gap is going to be difficult. I agree with Maddie here. However, there are lots of clouds in the way. And that will help the Centurions a lot. Alright, unpause, ATOC calls. And the game begins again. Fancy and Libclutter wasting no time. And in fact, Centurions are backing up a little bit here. Turin potentially offering a little bit of covering fire so the Iberico can work its way back around and it can follow him along as he likes. Fancy and Libclutter, however, working their way around the south side. Potentially looking to force them down and pin them. Fancy threatening arcs on the Turin right now. Here comes the Merc.
It looks as though SPQR was expecting the Riders to be coming up from the north, but they sneak around the south.
Ooh, Mercury down. Very nice shots coming in from the Iberico. Gonna slow them down just a little bit. Double Hades, I gotta say, is really scary to see coming in on you. Libclutter, however, is firing mostly unmolested. Turin now firing Hades out. Couple of lumberjacks as well. Balloons down. Gonna take the Libclutter out of the fight for a good long while. Vertical mobility working against them this time. Now the Fancy is going to be targeted. Those were some excellent lumberjack shots. Who was that? That was Mr. Dinkelberg and Sapphire Sage. Sapphire Sage may be spacey today, but boy is he on point with that lumber.
It's just a snipe fest.
Yeah, snipe fest that oddly enough Centurions are winning. As soon as the balloon gets popped, these mobulas are just practically worthless. They get dropped down. Mercury's not an arc. Artemis has terrible vertical arcs, and now it looks like they're going to be playing whack-a-mole. Libclutter getting hit, dropping down. Fancy getting repaired, going to be rising up as well. The pressure's got to stay up. Here we go. I think after both the Turin and the Fancy losing quite a bit of permahull, they're going to back up, restart the engagement. Flare comes out. Centurions do not want to let the pressure up at all.
Fancy rising from Candied Mountain's little brother. Is there a name for it, or is it just...
It's like Firnfeld Candy Mountain.
Firnfeld, Candy Mountain.
I guess. Here we go. Rydr's forced to pop down a little bit. They're going to take their time. They are not actually that far away from one another. This is about a less than a 1K engagement. They're less than a kilometer from one another, which is a remarkably short range.
I mean, for a sniping duel, yes, that is short range. I've seen a lot longer than that, but
Yeah, and the Centurions have a lumberjack. They have 2 lumberjacks. However, they are losing their armor. They're getting chipped away by those Artemises, but it's costing them. Lib Clutter loses some of its permahull. The only ship untouched right now is the Iberico, and I don't think the Turin took any sort of permahull damage worth mentioning. Right now, the Centurions are in an amazing place. They're engaging within a kilometer with double lumberjack. They can split the lumberjack a little bit or just focus one of them down, force them to play whack-a-mole. Whack-a-mobula.
Whack-a-mobula.
This is very, very good for the Centurions. It's the lumberjacks. The only thing keeping them in this fight is those lumberjacks. Dinkelberg and Sapphire Sage performing excellently. So is the Iberico. Those Artemis shots are good.
The Artemises are on point. Hades, for the most part, on point. You do get a few misses there, but I mean,
Here we go. Lumberjack starting to land on the Fancy, going a little bit low. There we go. Fancy's balloon is down. Lib Clutter now rising up, and they continue to play whack-a-mole. No armor break on the Turin.
but there was a slight armor break on the Iberico. No hold taken though.
There's a little bit. Just barely. They got nicked. Here we go. Mercury going to start chipping away. Yeah, it was a Mercury shot that landed, but that's it. No Artemis follow-up. And that's really the power of the Lumberjack here. The Ryders cannot coordinate their shots except for their alpha.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah, now Iberico is starting to take some serious damage. The Turin was lowering down a little bit there. Changing position. There we go. But as soon as the shots come out... Oh, the Iberico, however, taking a lot of damage. Both Mobulas allowed to fire on one target for just a short length of time. And I think that might be it for the Iberico. Ooh, armor comes back up just in time. Armor drops. One Merc will do it. Goes into the gun. Goes into the Artemis.
Let's say one.
There we go.
Ooh. And now is when the Riders
need to
start
move
moving
in. Yeah, and I think that's what they're doing. They're thinking about it. Lib Clutter is afraid of moving in because if it loses its balloon right over Candy Mountain 2, it's going to be hurting really bad.
Candy Mountain, the sequel to Candy Mountain, the original.
Candy Mountain 2. Sugar Boogaloo.
Sugar Buckaloo. Maybe Sweet Tooth Mountain,
Yeah, sure.
something like that. Or Cavity Mountain.
Cavity Mountain. I mean, I think that actually is a more accurate name for it because, I mean, look. You got that... Where is it? Where is it? I lose it. Here we go. It has that really big hole in it.
Yeah.
I think this is the... No, this isn't the copy of Candy Mountain. Copy of Candy Mountain is, like, farther down this way, I think. Anyway, back to the game. Iberico is joined back up with the Turin.
8 minutes remaining before overtime, so there's still plenty of time. 7 minutes, excuse me. And I do believe we still have all 10 minutes.
Yeah, the Riders, even under such massive pressure, were able to come out of that with a kill, which is huge. Oh, look at all that fire going on the Lib Clutter. They're just trying to keep him down. They need to do more than just keep these ships down. They need to go for these kills.
While SPQR's preoccupied with Lib Clutter. It looks as though Fancy's going to try and flank through the middle.
He's think about it. This is not generally an approach that we see in competitive Firnfeld. Firnfeld has not been out that long for 2v2.
Ooh. They get spotted. They're taking fire.
Yep. Centurion's doing an awesome job keeping the Ryders from splitting up. I mean, it's hard to flank with Mobulas. The Centurions are really on point in this game. Even though they're down a point, they're moving correctly. They're pinning.
They're
moving together.
Mobula, but it is possible. You do have Lib Clutter peeking its head up, taking pot shots at the Turin.
Uh-oh. It looks like Lib Clutter has lost one of its members. They have Irwin, the AI gunner, instead.
Yeah, I see on my screen area logged out.
Okay.
That is not good.
They can't call for a pause, though, as long as the Centurions are putting fire down.
And as long as they keep them spotted, they can take advantage of this, which... That's not good. Not good at all.
Yeah, that would be a legitimate strategy, but if Arya comes back in, they could end up in a really bad position. Fancy is just going to keep shots going down.
5 minutes remaining before the overtime.
Request pause. They can't quite pause right now, though. Shots are going down. There's combat. Yep. Pig is saying, nope, middle of an engagement. You can't call a pause during this. This is just...
There's spots, though. And he has started hitting. Up to all the captains, iTech is saying.
It's the ref that has to call the pause. It's not up to the captains. Atoc's got to call it. If I were the one calling it, though, I'd say no. Iberico's got shots.
Yeah.
There's no way. No.
Turn's gonna have shots not too...
Pauses are not... Like, this is...
Oh,
whoa! Atoc calling a pause! No, 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 no. That I disagree with. I disagree with that heavily. No, ships can see each other. Even without spots, ships can see each other very clearly. Questionable call there.
Comp is logged back in.
Okay.
She's coming back.
Okay.
Yeah, Blue's saying full line of sight.
No, this is a very contestable call.
Daniel's saying he doesn't see any of them. He's on the Fancy.
Well, yeah, he's on the Fancy, but the Lib Clutter.
Blue's saying he sees both of the ships, which...
Oh, this is... Well, the Ryders have Arya back.
iTech calling me on pause.
Alright, here we go. Shots going down the Lib Clutter. It's going to back up.
Carnage is commencing once again.
Well, whatever call gets called later, this is what we've got now. Mercury shots going out of the Iberico immediately. No, I disagree with that pause. Either way, though, shots going out. Fancy backing up. Continuing to take shots on the Iberico. Terran working its way around, though, to pin the Fancy even more.
Fancy's starting to close distance. Iberico... Iberico is pretty much in a 1v1 with Fancy right now. Terran's repositioning. Lib Clutter is... or was repositioning. 3 minutes remaining until overtime, and now you've got those lumberjack shots coming from the Terran.
Yep. The Iberico was just trying to buy time, but now it's moved too far forward. Lib Clutter has shots, and there it goes. Don't ever show your rear to a Mobula. Huge mistake. Now the Lib Clutter is going to start taking shots at the Turin. Shots are landing. How close are they? They are very far away. Are not that far away, honestly. It's a little over 2K. It's almost 2K. Closing distance, 1.5. What's the effective range of the Artemis again? I'm forgetting. It's over 1K. I don't think they have Lesmach. They have Burst. Yeah, they have Burst.
Probably 1.1, 1.2K. That's just me guessing.
Here we go. Yeah, you're right. Lib Clutter now getting shots in.
We're within one kilometer of engagement, so all these ships are within 1 square kilometer of each other.
Mm-hmm. Turin now in a huge amount of trouble. Fancy moving in. You can see Hades shots going out on him, but that's not going to be enough. Now the Iberico. This is a meat grind. This is a complete meat grind.
Unfortunate meat grind.
Iberico now going to get pounded on by the Lib Clutter. It's trying to put shots on the Fancy before it goes down, but I don't know. It's going to be able to do anything. It's going to be close. Fancy coming in with this close range guns now. Iberico in trouble. Flamethrower going to go out. Fancy putting itself in a lot of danger, but it should be fine. Armor drops. Hull drops. That's going to be that. 1 minute until overtime, but it's 4-0 in favor of the Ryders. Ryders are looking to 5-0 every single game that they play today.
Meanwhile, Turin spawns behind hard cover on the border of C3 and C2.
Yep, just about 1.5k away.
1 minute remaining again.
Fancy and Lib Clutter are going to play aggressive. They know, even though they're damaged, they know that if they can get good arcs on the Galleon specifically, they can close this game out. Disable those lumberjacks, and then the Ryders can just keep shots going all they like. The Iberico should be able to put some damage out, but
we are starting 10 minutes of overtime.
Lib Clutter working its way around to the west. Right now, the Fancy is eating quite a bit of damage. They lose their balloon, and there's no immediately available cover. They've got to turn a little bit. They have their engines, so they can if they want to, but they're burning kerosene back. They want to keep arcs on the turn. They're just trying to get arcs out of the way of the Iberico. There we go. Now they're going to back up completely. Lose their balloon. Armor not looking great, but the Lib Clutter coming in from the side. Turn's going to be a little bit low.
Yeah, Fancy sacrificing itself as temporary cannon fodder as Lib Clutter sneaks around on the turn.
Turin loses a lumberjack, loses the rudder. Turin has no lumberjack capability now. It's up to the Iberico to pin down the Lib Clutter to allow its ally to repair. Fancy in the meantime rising back up. It's all repaired and it's ready to enter the fight again. The Turin bringing its lumberjacks back up, and they are in arc, which is going to be the target. The Iberico losing whole armor. This is desperately bad for the Centurions. This may be SCS 33.
May or may not be. However, Fancy loses its balloon. Its hull is on fire. Although Turin still taking fire from the Lib Clutter, they're able to just poke their head out from cover. Iberico taking out on the Fancy as Turin's hull armor goes down.
Armor down. Iberico looking to chip away the hull of the Fancy. Here come the Artemis. Armor comes back up after a single shot, though. However, it's backing up. Turin is now going to have arcs, but the Lib Clutter is firing in on it. The Iberico is going to have its way with the Fancy as the Lib Clutter, way too far away, fires on the Turin, but it backs up behind hard cover.
2 minutes of overtime have been used as the Iberico continues to get those Hades shots in on the Fancy. Hull armor goes down on the Fancy.
Wow. This is perfect engagement range. Armor not looking good on the Fancy. Hades coming out from the Turin as well, but none of them land. None of them are necessary. Iberico picks up the kill. And Lib Clutter is now left all alone. However, it does have shots on the Iberico at long last.
Rydr's with the first death of the evening.
Yeah, they finally lose it. They finally lose. They drop a kill.
And now Lib Clutter's just hiding behind a mountain, waiting for Fancy to come back up to the front. 3 minutes of overtime have been spent as Iberico and Turn re-prepare for the next wave of engagements.
7 minutes left. And right now there is a very large advantage in favor of Riders. The Riders can totally just let this coast on time if they want to.
I mean, as much as they could do that,
They're not known to.
Yeah, Riders never just let the time run out. They always finish 5, whatever. They're not ones to go hide in the corner on Canyon Ambush or hide in a cloud on Paradin or whatever. It's just not something that they're known to do.
No, they don't like letting the time run out. However, they did pick a Galleon, and this may be an issue. Lib Clutter taking shots out on the Iberico. This time the Fancy has moved off to the west to take shots, but it's getting singled out a little bit. Hades not going in, but the Fancy is getting good shots on the Iberico. If the Fancy gets this kill, that'll be it. However, its armor is dropping very quickly. Hades landing, Artemis landing, but it's too much. And that's going to be it for Sunday Community Skirmish number 33. Riders once again picking up victory, only dropping 1 death the entire time. Absolutely brutal, very dominating performance. And they deserve it. I feel like they definitely deserve it. They played excellently.